Hi, let's discuss how to start a business in the United States as a foreigner. If you live in a different country, I would like to show you how to open a business, register corporation in the United States from outside of the country. Most of it is done online, so it's fairly easy and it costs about 370 to 400 US dollars. So it's not that expensive. So below are the steps, so we'll just go through each of them and explain in more detail. There are multiple reasons why you would want to start a business in the United States. In my case, it was that I already have a business in Canada and I wanted to have a better way of doing business with customers in the United States in terms of banking, for example. The international wire transfers were quite expensive, so I decided to open a business in the United States to have representation in the United States and also open a bank account, business bank account, where all the transfers are free. So it was a natural fit. For others, it may be something different. You might want to just open your business for the investment purposes, or you're a tech company and you're looking to open a business in the United States. You may be someone who is looking into opening a branch if you are a foreign company. So these are the steps that you would take in order to register a business in the United States. So if you look at these steps, the first one would be choosing a state. That's the first thing. And the reason why I am saying this, because pretty much every state in the United States has a different tax, corporate tax code. They're charging different types of taxes. So it's something that you really should consider as the first thing in which state you would like to open the business. If you look at this chart here from 2021, you can see what the corporate income taxes are in different states. Most of the companies, especially tech, they were opening businesses in Delaware. And the reason for that was because of the business-friendly environment and legal statuses of corporations in Delaware. This has been changing lately. Nevada, Wyoming, and Texas have been quite competitive, especially for their tax purposes, but also how easy they make it for businesses to conduct business there. So those would be some of the states you would consider. If you look at the California, the taxes are really high there. I personally have a business registered in New York. Besides these corporate income taxes, there are different types of taxes on top of this. Usually, with states, you can have a franchise tax. So it depends on what kind of business you have. If you have LLC, or if you have S corporation, which is a pass-through corporation, there are, for example, in California, annual franchise tax is $800, regardless of if you are making any money or you're in a loss. So that's something to consider. For example, in New York, if you end up having income less than $100,000, you only end up paying $25 in taxes. Yeah, it's something that you might want to consider in terms of registering your business. Then the second thing is you need to find a registered agent service. This is the same in every state in the United States. You cannot register business by yourself. You have to do it through registered agent service. And the reason is because they are reachable by the states. They're able to do the so-called process of service, which is a term where if you, for example, were not paying taxes, or the government or local or state would like to sue you, take you to court, they don't have to look for you. They just serve the court papers to registered agent. So this is a way in the United States how to take control of the situation when businesses are changing addresses constantly. by having registered agents, the states are able to serve businesses with court papers by doing this. So basically, you have to find the registered agent. There's no way of going around it. And I'll show you how to do that. It's very simple. And for example, I use a registered agent service in New York, and in the state of New York, it costs $49 a year. Then you need to register your business, and again, you should be doing that using the registered agent services, and then get a business address, because registered agent, although court papers and filings can be delivered to them, they don't serve as your mailbox. So all the other mail in terms of banking information and or any kind of mail from your customers, you can go to registered agent service. So you need to find a way how to create a business address, and I'll show you how to do that. Then you need to register with IRS and get employer identification number, and I'll explain how that's done. You can do it online. The trick there is that you need to already have the social security number to do that. But if you are a foreigner, you obviously don't have a social security number. But if you submit the forms via fax or just mail them to IRS, then you don't need a social security number. So there's a loop you can go around just by faxing, and that's what I personally did. I just faxed the fill out form. It's called SS4, and I was able to get for the corporation that I registered, get the employer identification number. The sixth point is opening a bank account. So in order for you to do business, you actually need to have a bank account in the United States. This is the only thing that cannot be done online. If anyone knows how to do it online, let me know in comments. So this is something you would do in person. You basically would have to fly into or drive into the United States. If you're from Canada, go to a bank and then provide them with the articles of incorporation that you would get from the registered agent, and you would provide them with a business address and the employer identification number from IRS, and they would open a bank account for you, a business bank account. And then after you do this, you may want to register a state online tax account. For example, this is the case with the state of New York. You can manage everything online. With lots of states, you need to submit annual returns every year or so. So you would do it through this. For example, in the state of New York, it's done biannually, so every 2 years, and it costs $9. And it's just basically telling the government that you still exist and operate. And it's done through this. And you also submit your income taxes through the system. It's basically just an online account with the government. And the last thing you should do is, if you are selling in that state, for example, if you have a corporation registered in the state of New York and you are selling to customers in the state of New York, then you need to be charging them sales tax. And in order to get refunds or do a filing of the sales tax, then you need to have a sales tax number, which you would again apply for. If you are selling to customers in other states, which is my case, then you don't need a sales tax number in the state of New York. And again, there are different types of so there are two types of states in the United States: those that have to charge sales tax to everyone, and those that don't have to. So we can discuss this later. So in terms of the total cost, it'll cost you about $373, at least in case of registering corporation in the state of New York. But it's very similar everywhere. So it's not that expensive, and everything can be managed online except for opening a bank account. We discussed the choosing a state. So let's have a look at the finding registered agent services. All you have to do is just go to Google and just type register agent services in the state that you would like to operate in, and it gives you tons and tons of options. In my specific case, we can have a look at the New York. So I specifically am using this business. It's called NewYorkRegisteredAgent.com. So it's very simple. And all you have to do is you just need to register with them and tell them that you would like to open a business. So if you just go to help, for example, here, it explains a lot about different types of businesses and how to do the registration. So if you just want to use them as a registered agent services, it's $49 a year. If you already have a corporation, you just do a transfer to them. If you want to form a business, obviously, then you can just click get started. There are many types of businesses. Lots of people in the United States use so-called LLC. It's limited liability company. So basically, it's like a pass-through corporation or S corporation where you're responsible as a business owner for everything, both loss and also income. I personally don't really understand why people use this. I am a big fan of corporation. As a business owner, if I'm just only one as a shareholder of the corporation, I can always pay myself through either just charge the company as a consultant or just take out the money as dividends. So it's really your choice. I really recommend you always going for a corporation. It just gives you a lot more flexibility in what you can do with the company. Also, in terms of registering, LLC costs more, and also in the state of New York, you have to advertise that you in local newspapers that you created an LLC. It costs somewhere around $1,000 for the ads. So that's something that you may want to think about. When you start registering the employer identification number with the IRS, it'll ask you if you want to have a C corporation or S corporation. S corporation is very similar to LLC, and it's basically a pass-through. So all the money goes to the owner or to the shareholders, while with C corporation, it's just a regular corporation. And again, I'm a big fan of it. For multiple purposes, but just for the flexibility and protection for you as the owner of the business. So you can just basically register the company with registered agent services. You just tell whatever you want it to be called. It costs, their processing fees are $125, so it costs in total $274 for 1 year of their services plus all the registrations. So you just fill this out in terms of company information, the officers. If it's just you, then just put one, and personal details, and then optional items will be something like bylaws, and it'll ask you. And then you just pay $274, and within a day or two, you will receive an email to log into the account, and you will see the articles of incorporation and all the information about your business. So this is where most of your money goes. And you can, again, if you just look up registered agent, let's say Nevada, you will have lots of options. For example, here's for $35 a year. So again, two important things in this section is to think about which state to choose. Look into taxes, both corporate income taxes, how they are evaluated and paid, and also look into franchise taxes. For example, in Los Angeles, or in California, as I said, franchise tax is $800. You don't have that in other states. Some states have $200, some have zero. Some are charging taxes on income. Some are charging on your actual revenues, not income, which is really strange. In New York, for example, there are other taxes. There's metropolitan tax. So if you have a business address in the metropolitan New York, then on top of that there's a metropolitan tax, but it's only in case you have employees. So there are different things that need to be considered. I would recommend states like, as I said, New York or Nevada, Ohio, to register business. So we will discuss the getting a business address and the employer identification number and opening a bank account in the next part of this video.